Welcome to episode 22. I'm Cole. Tristan's sitting here.
I'm recording.
David's not here today, so it's just us. Good luck. Please listen to our episode. It's great. I swear it's great. We talk about astrophotography and Samsung switching out the moon physically. And we talk about, what else did we talk about? We talked about Max. We talked about Arc browser. It's an awesome browser. You got to check it out. We explain it very in-depth, maybe more in-depth than it needed to be. We talk about Tuesday Tip. We're cleaning screens, guys.
Oh, yeah. It's an episode.
Yeah! Stick around.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Welcome to the TRIFLIX cast. We are professional videographers and photographers talking about the latest business practices, tech, and techniques. I'm Cole.
And I'm running the stream today. It's
Scary.
your boy. It's Tristan. I'm the director, and David's not feeling good.
Oh.
No, he won't feel good. He felt so bad.
Oh, here. So he felt pretty bad. So I actually have a message from him. Let me get it pulled up here. For those of you who don't know, David is normally our tech who runs the podcast, and he does the editing for the main show, and he switches the camera. So,
but now it's me.
Yes. So enjoy. Just if anything's jarring, you'll know why. Okay. Here is the audio that he sent me.
Hey, this is David. How's it going? I'm sick. I got sick after I visited my nephew again. I think children have a lot of germs. They have too many germs. They just
For sure.
They collect them and they just share them around with their friends, and they have a lot of fun doing it. But when they share with me, I don't have fun. I don't understand what's happening. Why can't I have fun when they have the germs and that they have the fun?
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I don't understand it. It's just I can't figure it out. Can I have $5?
No.
That's what I was going to say.
Absolutely not.
No, sir. You have no more sense above what you're owed as a contractor. So yeah, so David's not here today. It's just Tristan and I, so this could be an interesting conversation, to say the least. So if you're used to three of us and you haven't, I don't think we've ever done it just us. Like one of us is gone.
Yeah, we have.
Have we?
Season 1.
That's true. It's been since, what was that, 2019 probably?
Yeah. Yeah.
Coming back.
Yeah.
Oh, I messed up.
What'd you do?
I don't have a news story.
You don't have a news story?
I don't have a news story.
Didn't
I outlined everything.
One? David had one this week, I thought, prepped.
We can use that. Everybody's been talking about it, so we can use that. Let me get it pulled up here. Okay. So for those of you that usually watch us, those of you who don't usually watch, we normally have a news story and we talk about it and we try to get everybody riled up. Today, we don't have a news story, but technically we do. But Tristan and I are just going to talk about this because I have a feeling this is going to spur some other conversations. And I don't know how much you know about this. This is rehashed. This is old news that has been brought back.
Oh. And
I know more context. So since the weekend on, I've been able to like hear things and research. So there is a Reddit user who discovered that Samsung Space Zoom, which on the new Samsung phones, I think the last 2 or 3 versions, they have this 100 times zoom that they call Space Zoom. I don't know the technical bits of it. I know that a lot of it's optical and it's like a bent sensor or a mirrored bent sensor that like runs long ways, but then it bends in so that you can actually have like optical zoom. But I don't think that it zooms all the way to 100 optically. So I think there's a lot of digital tomfoolery happening. But anyways, so they're saying that people are using this to take pictures of the moon. And it just is simply replacing the moon with higher res images of the moon through AI. So you're like, oh, I took a picture of this moon.
But it's not the moon.
And you're like, look at this moon. It looks so good. It's so crisp and so clear. And supposedly what they're saying is that it's replacing the moon with other images and just blending it and making it look good.
That makes sense. But why do you want a picture of the moon?
I think that's a great question. Because I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've tried to take pictures of the moon, but we're talking like with a professional grade DSLR. So there's intent behind it, not just like, hey, that moon looks real nice, I'm gonna use my phone to zoom in and take a picture of it.
I mean, the moon looks cool, but I get it sometimes, but I don't think there's a way for a lens to zoom in that far. Like, you would have to be shooting with I don't even think our 300 mil would make sense of it.
It doesn't. I've tried.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's people who have lenses that are
you could
made for this.
But I'm just saying, like, we have a professional-ish prosumer camera with a good lens, and I don't think it would... switch camera. Oh, yeah. And I don't think it would...
That's going to happen a lot.
I don't think it would look that great.
I mean, it would if you did it right. You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of people do astrophotography that looks really nice.
With a 300 mil?
No, not with a 300 mil.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying, like,
yeah,
there's
no
no way
that.
they're fitting more than a 300 mil inside of a cell phone.
Oh, no.
So I feel like people would be very silly to assume that their phone could take that photo without fakery.
I think you're giving people too much credit.
I think
you know
the marketing for that lens is really dumb if it was able to convince people otherwise. If they
it worked.
I mean, if people...
It worked. They're like, look at this 100 times space zoom. Although the other use of it that I've seen is zooming directly into somebody's window from like a skyscraper. They're like, oh, let me see what's in this place, like across from where I'm staying in like a hotel. And you could zoom all the way into like somebody's window.
With the phone?
Yeah. It was 100 times.
And that like, looks good?
No.
Oh.
No. Although, okay, so here's the thing. So when this originally happened, everybody was saying that, or Samsung came out and was like, look, it's just real fancy HDR, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like they're taking 20 images in that span of time.
Oh.
So like there's a lot of stabilization happening. They take 20 images and they're taking all those and they're mashing them together and making a nice clear image. Which is like, if you look at the picture, you can tell like the craters on the moon match up with the image that's there. So it's like you'd have to do a lot of like AI stuff to really get it to mash right? So I know that they were talking, I think I was telling you about this. It was on Linus. They were talking about the quick tips or whatever. They covered the story as well.
It wasn't Tech Quickie, it was the...
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, right? That's the one where they talk about the news. Because it's part of the news.
Probably.
I don't know. Anyways, it was Riley. So...
Oh, yeah.
They were talking about the news. And so they were just saying that like...
TechLinked. Tech Quickie is the one where they like break down like sciencey information about it, I think, and then TechLinked is like they're linking you with the news. Yeah, no, I get it. Jamie's pulling it up.
There you go. But no, I'm trying to remember exactly what he said. He had said that supposedly there was some stuff going on in the background, but it's still not like AI actually replacing the moon.
Really?
Yeah. So again, it's very fancy HDR. So they're not actually pulling something in to replace it. There's an article from back in the day. The Galaxy S21 is when they did it the first time. And I mean, they look pretty decent. But what they were trying to do is be like, okay, I'm going to illuminate this ping pong ball or something and see if it thinks that that's the moon and that it replaces the image, and it doesn't. What?
So Riley's on both shows.
That's bad.
I don't.
That does not make it anymore.
I still don't know which one's which. I think, yeah. But the moon thing, I don't know. It's weird that people want to take pictures of the moon, but also it's weird that I think the part that I've heard was that somebody was like taking a photo of the actual moon from the internet and like blurring it and then putting it on their computer and zooming in from across the room or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like there's no actual data there for it to enhance, so it has to be doing some AI fakery in that situation, because there's not like
filling in the blanks.
Yeah, it's basically the how like the photo generation works, where like you add noise to an image and then you blur it until it doesn't make sense anymore, and then the computer has to reconstruct the original image. Everybody always uses the example of the apple. So it's like you're just given a really blurry picture of what could be a moon and then telling it because when you take a picture of space, it's assuming it's a moon and then reconstructing a moon. But the fact that it's getting some of the details in the right spot, even after it's blurry, is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, at the end of the day, it just seems kind of, I believe the HDRing part a lot more than the fact that like something's actually going in and adding detail.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I understand these things can't, but again, for all of it to kind of work that way, like
that fast,
there's a lot behind that.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how long all that stuff takes on a computer when you try to generate an image.
30 seconds at least.
And you're like, all of a sudden you pull up this photo and it's like, it's blurry, and then it just clips in and you're like, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah. It's like the night sight on my Pixel, and then I assume most phones is pretty impressive, where like you take photo and then like it says hold still for half a second, and then you get way more data than like your eye even perceived when you looked at it, and you're like, oh no, that actually is there in the image. So
it's just a long exposure.
Yeah.
That's it.
But
no, I mean, I get it. And this is why the issue is too. They're trying to compare it to a Sony in the article, and it's like, I understand that, but like, you have to manually HDR an image, on a camera, right? So it's like, there's a lot that goes into astrophotography in general, but you have to know how to do all the things. The phone just does all this stuff for you. There's no computational photography going on inside of a camera.
There is a thing where I think it's an application on your phone, or application in general, where you can point your camera up at space and it'll show you constellations. Like it'll connect the dots between the stars that your camera perceives.
Yeah.
So
my phone does that.
Yeah. And like you could, like, they're like, well, if you point it up at space and there's the moon and there's things around it, it would be aware as you're taking the photo that you're looking at space. Plus you have like the gyroscope in your phone and it knows that you're aiming up away from the earth. So it's like there's that. But in the case where somebody's pointing it towards a computer screen, it's like there was no information around it to know what it was looking at. I'm curious of how blurry he made the moon in that situation, but I don't know. It's beyond my understanding. It's very, again, why would you take a picture of the moon? I don't get it.
I like that that's where you're at.
Why?
Like at the end of the day, you're like, why would you want to shoot the moon?
I don't get it.
That's cool, man. It's space. It's the moon.
Yeah, I think
it's cool.
The moon's cool, but
like if I could get closer to the moon.
Yeah, I don't know. This is one of those things where it's something that everyone's already done.
That's true.
And are you doing anything different or creative or better or personal that makes it special? It's like when people take videos of fireworks.
It's all the same.
Unless it's a really, really special fireworks shot, you probably don't even care. You're probably not even going to watch it again later. And I feel like the footage of your fireworks and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I did it once and that was that.
Yeah, so
it looked
like,
pretty cool.
Are you going to post a picture of the moon? Or is it just going on your phone and you're going to keep it for later?
I did recently.
You posted a picture of the moon?
I did.
Oh.
It wasn't very close.
Oh.
Because obviously I can only get so close. But it was more interesting composition because I had some like trees and stuff going on, so you could see like there was a little more depth to the image. It's not just like a flat sky. So I thought that helped a little bit. Also, I can only zoom in so far.
Yeah.
It's cool though. I mean, the devil's advocate here, and this is moving on from like the phone photography, but it's like it also is a really good way to learn your gear. You know what I mean? You're like, I don't know, I feel like shooting the sky tonight.
Yeah.
And so you go out and you mess around with it for a little while and mess with your functions and try to see what works best.
I get
Helps
that.
to get familiar.
But
of course I'm going to post it.
No, I get that. If you're shooting with your actual camera.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it's for practice. That falls into that category of, is it creative? Is it different? Or are you doing it for a specific reason? But some people just like, whip out the phone in a situation and they're like, I got to get it. But they never ask why.
Yeah, and I think mainly the whole thing started because when they came out with it, people were like, 100 times zoom. Because again, the marketing works, man. Whether we want to admit it or not, like most people buy into that crap.
I guess if it's like a 70 mil, because I think some phones like do 70 mil because it's like the better portrait anyways. So it's like 70 and then you do 100 times zoom or 10 times zoom.
It's 100. It's literally what they call it.
So it's like 7,000 So it's like 7,000 zoom.
I don't know.
You have a 7,000 millimeter lens on your phone. Is that I don't know.
They're talking about it. It came up on Google first thing. I just wanted to type in. I'm looking for the lens equivalent. Let's see here. Hey man, focus. You're supposed to fill in the gaps while I'm doing this.
I'm interested. I'm sucked in. I want to know. Everybody wants to know how big is that lens in your phone. I don't know. It just seems really strange to me because if they're advertising 100x and you have to be able to see the moon, anything you multiply by 100, I feel like it's kind of overshooting what it would take to see this moon. Maybe I'm just not as familiar with how tight these shots are.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping they would just show the millimeter equivalent, but it doesn't.
Because it's
more complicated than that.
Because your phone has a 14 mil, which is probably not using that lens, and most phones have like the normal standard, which is probably like a 24 to 30 mil that shoots like pretty narrow but not super tight. And then some phones that have a third lens usually have like a 50 to 70 equivalent for portrait modes. So 50 to 70 is a 5,000 to 7,000 millimeter lens. Just the numbers don't make sense.
Yeah, and a lot of it's digital zoom, so you do have to remember that.
Oh,
it's not. It's the 100 times.
Oh wait,
is
how many
not,
megapixels are these things? Because I mean that does.
I think they're 48.
So that's a lot of resolution for a single photo to have.
Yeah, let's look. Telephoto has a maximum aperture of 3.5. It doesn't. Yeah, they don't give you an equivalent, but I think it's like I think it's a 10 times zoom optical, and then anything above that is all digital.
I don't know if I believe 10 times zoom even optical. That sounds insane to fit inside of a phone.
I mean, no, it does it.
Oh,
well, that's why. So like what they're doing is they call them a periscope lens. So the lens, they use mirrors and they stack. So instead of like, normal, like let's say your phone is face down on a table and your camera's pointing up, like they take all the layers of that, the sensor, the lens, the glass, all the things, they stack it like that. But in in their case with the periscope zoom, they take that whole assembly and they make it go long ways, so that they can stack the assembly, and then at the end where it needs to point out of your phone, they use a mirror to direct the sensor back out.
That's really funny.
So they're like able to stack all those optical sensors long ways along the back of your phone.
So we went from mirror cameras to mirrorless back to mirrors.
Yeah. Technically, yes.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Yes.
We're coming full circle. Technology never ends. The loop. It's back here.
It's essentially like that thing. I don't know if you had one when you were a kid. I didn't. I thought it would have been cool, but it was like the periscope that you look in.
Oh yeah.
It like pointed up and out.
We have one in the basement at my parents' house. I think it's still there. They had one for a long time. If they don't anymore, it's probably in the attic.
Same thing.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah. Well,
Which is cool.
That's like a mirrored camera. It's like you'd have the image come in and it mirrors up,
Bing,
mirrors
bing,
back,
bing,
and then
bing.
goes to the viewfinder.
Bing, bang, bong, bang, bong.
Some other stuff in between.
There's probably some stuff in between. Don't at us about the not knowing the stack there.
It's before my time.
Yeah.
I didn't have to
deal.
Cameras.
I did. You never had a mirrored at all? Like you never had just a DSLR?
I think
Or was the Nikon
my
first?
stepdad had one. I had the Samsung before, and that was mirrorless as well. APS-C sensor.
Mm-hmm.
That's my first one.
I had a Samsung like that too.
We're slowly learning that I didn't have a lot of.
Yeah, sorry. Hey, I bought mine. No, it was a birthday present. Never mind.
Well, you are older.
Never mind. What about it?
I just think that you've had more time to acquire more things in life.
Like high-speed internet.
Yeah.
We'll keep bringing that up.
Traffic tickets.
Plenty of those. Plenty of those. Man, speaking of fast. Yeah. This has been a topic I've been wanting to talk about.
Arc.
Yeah, the Arc browser.
Is that really what the segue was for fast?
Yeah.
I thought about saying Arc as soon as you said fast. I was like, there's no way.
That was exactly, yeah, because I mean, it is helping to speed up our workflow. Like, in my opinion, it does.
I agree. I like it. It's way faster.
That's why I said fast.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So
it's better than Chrome. Buy Chrome. by Brave.
What's the Arc? I know what it is.
Okay, so Arc is a browser made by the Browser Company.
I like it.
One of the fastest growing companies.
It's funny. I buy my sheets from like the linen company or something like that. Everyone has these stupid meta names now.
Dude,
and then Meta has Meta.
Yeah, they went straight to the top. They were like, all you guys suck. We are Meta. Like, we are the definition.
Yeah.
We should just change our name to the Video Company. It probably exists.
The media company.
Somebody had to.
We're the media company.
We should just be like the media guys. That's sexist.
Bros.
Media bros.
Media dudes.
We're all bros.
So
it would be funny, the Video Co.
So Chrome's really cool because it owns basically the whole internet if you want to search for something. And then Edge was like, we got AI, and all the crypto bros were all about it. So now Edge is kind of cool, but I don't know if they're really getting any market share.
Forced you. They are. But they were talking, I just heard this, that they crossed 100 million daily active users, and that was a big deal for them. But they were like, literally, like Chrome and Google and stuff is like 10 times that.
Oh,
yeah. Like,
so it's Chrome or Chromium open, like Chrome, like Safari combined.
No. So well, it's more like just Google. Oh, wait, Google in general.
Isn't Edge based on Chromium now?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what I'm speaking of more is like, people switched to Edge because that was the only way to use the ChatGPT integration. And so now, like, Bing and Edge and stuff has got this huge like resurgence of like users, right?
Yeah.
But they're like, they just said we crossed this threshold, when really they're, again, Google in general gets 10 times the traffic. So they're trying. But anyways, so most browsers, and people probably don't know this, but most browsers, excluding Safari, I guess there's Safari, there's Firefox. I don't know if Opera is still a thing. I used to try all the browsers. But other than that, everything for the most part is actually still based on Chrome. So recently we've used Brave. We're now using Arc. All of Edge. All of these are actually based on what Tristan said. It's Chrome, but that's short for Chromium, and it's an open source browser made by Google. And open source means that you can use the code to then build upon your own product.
You hit them all. According to this article from A-Time, Brave, Chrome, it says 10 alternatives to Chromium, and then it lists Chrome. I don't know about that.
Smart.
Firefox, Opera, Edge was still on here.
Yep.
Safari, Internet Explorer, dead.
Yeah,
and
it's dead.
Iron. I've never heard of Iron.
Never heard of that either. I know there's one out there that's supposed to be like the most secure, no one knows what you're looking at type browser. Maybe that's that one.
Huh.
My mom was like, I downloaded it because no one can track me.
It's probably DuckDuckGo. A lot of
that's what it was.
People like DuckDuckGo.
That's what it was. But anyway, so that's the thing is, if you decide to ditch Chrome, you're probably using it anyways, and
some different slice of the same pie in some capacity.
Yes, which is fine because most of us, not all of us, work or use a Gmail account for a large percentage of what we do on the internet.
Yep.
If you use YouTube and you do anything on it whatsoever, any interacting, you probably got a Gmail account.
Yeah.
I think you have to.
If you go online and you leave a review for TRIFLIX LLC, you probably did it with a Gmail account. You don't have to. There's an alternative, but they hide it. And life's just easier when you use the Gmail account.
There you go. So one of the things, like one of the reasons why you want to use something that is Chromium based or Chrome based, because then you can log into your Gmail accounts and it lets all your Google stuff work. So like our work suite, or like working background here at TRIFLIX, like our back end is all Google. So everybody has a Google email, although it says triflix.com, it's all Google based. Mm-hmm. So that gives us access to all the Google tools, whether that's Gmail, Drive, YouTube, all of it.
Plus the extension support is just kind of better.
Yes. Yes.
If you want anything additional to your browser, it'll work usually across all Chromium based. Usually.
Yes. Extensions are normally part of that whole ecosystem because 90% of us use them in some capacity. And if you're not using them, they probably got installed by something else, and they're probably annoying you by popping up every once in a while.
Yeah.
Do you remember that back in the day? That made me think of it. Did you ever have, when they used to install taskbars? Like you would download a program and it would install a taskbar on your browser.
Across like next to the URL and stuff.
It would be underneath of it, yes.
I feel like I remember this vaguely, but I'd never understood what it was or how it got there. And like a lot of them are on like school computers.
Oh yeah. Because everybody's like, oh, I downloaded, I don't know, right? They were like, oh, I went to this thing and I downloaded this program, and they were like, just click yes, next, agree. And then it downloads the stupid toolbar. That's what it's called, toolbar. And they would just stack. And literally there's like images out there on the internet where they would just stack until you could barely see any of the internet. And they were disgusting. Like Yahoo and like,
I do remember these. Yeah. Yeah.
It was essentially, it was like a widget for your browser, but it would just link you straight into everything about that company. So it's probably an AOL one, but it was always funny because I would have to fix my mom's browser all the time because she'd start stacking those things up. And I'd be like, what are you downloading? She's like, I don't know. And you'd have to delete them. And that was an Internet Explorer thing. They called it Internet Exploder. But anyways, I'm getting off task here. But Arc is Chromium based, so we can log into all our Gmail accounts. Everything syncs. We're good to go. But it's this beautiful, rethought browser made by people who obviously care.
A team of about 50 people, so not too big yet. They're a little cool baby company. They're pretty cool.
They are pretty cool. They got a cool workspace. I've seen it. It looks really awesome. But the owner, CEO, whatever you want to call him, he's been like really vocal on social media, and like MKBHD, he's a YouTuber. He talked about Arc browser, or actually one of his guys that works for him was talking about it on their podcast. And he was like, oh, okay. And like asking questions, and he hadn't used it. So it was interesting to kind of see, but the CEO did a reaction video to that. And that was really cool. So they're out there, they're doing the right stuff. But the main thing is just the product. They only have a browser that's released right now for the Mac. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Windows, I'm pretty sure, is still in development.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure David told me that it's like a beta. Like it's way more private than the Mac one.
Yeah.
So, and that is the thing, this is still in development. It's definitely real. It's to the point where we have had no problems with it. We haven't been using it that long. It's been a couple weeks.
I had one problem with it, but like I restarted and it went away.
There you go. So it's a little buggy. And you have to be invited to use it.
I didn't know that either. It was just, I got invited, but I didn't know that.
David set you up. Yeah. But you also get 5 invites that you can send to other people.
Pyramid scheme.
Pretty much. Which we should do that. If you've made it this far in the podcast and you want to try Arc browser and you want an invite, if you reach out to us, we'll send you an invite.
I guarantee this is like a thing on their like subreddit already where people are like, I want invited. And then people are like, here's my 5 invites.
Oh, I guarantee it.
Yeah. That's no brainer.
Yeah, for sure. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and I think you get 5 invites a week. Like if you want to max out.
Huh.
So
that's a very interesting business model.
Weird.
I wonder if it helped them or hurt them, and I assume it was calculated.
I'm guessing so. I think that it probably deters people. You know what I mean? So like if you're not really like, instead of just being like, oh, I'm just going to download it, and then you complain, at least you know like this is what you're buying into.
Yeah, like maybe it's more towards like a technical market, so it's like you have to be technical to access it, but then it so kind of deters the people that aren't, because it's for Mac only right now, which is kind of hit or miss if you're getting a technical person or if you're getting a hype beast. I got the name brand thing. I did the thing.
I spent $6,000 on a laptop just because I could, not because I would use any of it for anything.
The number of people that tell us that same sentence in regards to cameras that have no professional background in photography, but they just a hobby, and it's going to be sitting on a shelf for a good bit, and it's just like, man,
getting dusty.
I'd love to have one of those.
Yeah, here we are pushing 400,000 Shutter releases in 2 years. But yeah, I don't know. It was kind of funny because my dad was like, why would I use it over Chrome?
Yeah.
and he asked me the question. And even though like I love it to death and it's worked, I mean, I told him, I was like, the fluidity of it, like the well thought out features is definitely high up there, because it essentially takes the entire bar that you would have across the top of your screen and puts it on the left-hand side of the screen. Mm-hmm. You can also auto hide it, which is nice for a smaller laptop. But it gives you that option, and it's right there. It's super easy to do. And then you can pin a lot of your apps, which again, you can do all of this stuff on Chrome, but it's just more elegantly put in place. Yeah. It's more of a redesign functionally and like where things are more than anything. Mm-hmm. They've definitely innovated on the way that like windows pop out.
Yeah. And a lot of like little light boxes or whatever they're called on, what is it called?
I don't know.
Yeah. I think
I forget.
The platform we build our website on is called like light boxes, where when you click a link, it'll pull a little previewer of it up, and it doesn't actually open a new tab yet. I think you can like force it to.
It's like a separate window, but not a full-on browser window. It's just a secondary. Yeah. So there's not a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. You normally just close it when you're done with whatever you're doing. Yeah. But it's nice. I don't know. It just works really well. And my biggest thing is when you open up the sidebar, or like the main bar there on the left, if you want to go to your different profiles. So, you know, we talked about this on Tuesday Tip, if you haven't seen it, but on Chrome, you can have different profiles with different Gmail accounts. Mm-hmm. So I have 4. And if I want to go from like work to personal to my formal account to like my real estate account, all I have to do is open up that bar and then just use like scrolling to left and right to scroll through to a different one. Yeah. And it's all self-contained. Like I don't have to open up an extra window. It's just there.
I feel like that's probably the biggest deterrent for going to Windows, because I love it on Mac, but I don't use a trackpad. I use the Magic Mouse that has side scrolling. If you don't have side scrolling, I don't know if it's going to be... Oh, you can?
You can still click because it shows you all your profiles at the bottom left-hand corner.
Oh, I wouldn't like that.
No. But I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still better. Yeah. Still better.
So I was thinking about it earlier. The biggest appeal for me wasn't a lot of the things that David talked about when he had like he brought that app forward, and he's like, check this out, and you know, I saw a video on it. It's so cool, you guys gotta see it. And you've been waiting for weeks, months, whatever, to get access. And I know you've mentioned it to me too, but the thing that he described was really cool. Like, he just had this long list, and to me the best part was not the split views and having multiple windows. Like, whatever, it's kind of nice, it's kind of a novelty in my opinion, but having everything off on the side, and they treat it very similar to how instead of windows, like with each browser window is like, or the tab is like its own tab, I guess, they're treating it as like their applications. Yes. So whenever you're on Mac and you have your little dock at the bottom, or on Windows, whatever, you have your little dock at the bottom, taskbar, and you have all your little applications. I always have mine pinned on the left side anyways, and it's all my apps, and then I can click in between them, and as long as the app didn't get closed, it's, whenever I open it, it'll go right back into my video editing software or whatever application I had up last. And if I close it all the way, it'll close the application, but it's still in the dock. And that's how I think the way they've reimagined using the internet is all of the websites you're going to are kind of just web-based applications now. Yep. And they've made it so that it's more visually similar to what people are familiar with when they're on their computer already. And on the left side is where I keep all my apps. And when I close a window, the pinned apps, the pinned tab is still there. So if I click it, it'll go right back to opening the program, but it won't pick up right where I left off because I closed it. You know, if you're editing a video and you close the application, when you reopen it, all the buttons are there right where you left off, but you might have to reopen a project or something. So that, and then the spaces, being able to switch between personal or business, or even if you're doing like a dedicated project, like you're in school and you want to, like, you're doing homework for a specific project or class, you could have one space for each of your classes. Or however you're doing, you know, cooking, you're like, I got breakfast today, lunch, dinner, you want a different space for each of those. Like, whatever it is you want to do, it's so easy to set up a different space. And I use them permanently, but I know they advertise it as being a temporary thing as well. If you're like, archive it, save it for later, whatever, come back to it if you want.
Yeah, because space is associated with a profile, but if you want to use the same profile for those spaces, you can, right? So, those are two different things. So it's like the space is where those tabs and pin things all live.
Yeah.
But then your profile is whatever account you're using to sync that data. But it's like you can use all these things in conjunction, and you pick a color and an icon or an emoji.
Yeah, I like to use in the emojis and stuff. That was cool.
Like TRIFLIX is like the film camera emoji.
Yeah.
So that way it's like, I know.
Yeah.
The little personal one, it's a little person.
Mine's an eggplant.
Yeah. I mean,
nothing more personal than that.
That's true. But I just love the customizable features and all that stuff. I don't know.
Have you opened two windows before? Have you tried it?
You mean like split or?
No, like two separate windows.
No, I haven't.
That's how I've been using it because I have enough screen that I don't care to have split view. If you have two windows open on the left side for your bars on each of them, it keeps your profiles. Like you have the same profile, so you have the same pins and stuff.
Okay.
And whenever you click one, it'll switch you over from window to the other, which I find really helpful because there's times where I'm like working on one window for a specific task and one for another task, but they're on the same profile. So I want to have both up at the same time. And then like if I have banking information on one and my accounting information on the other, and I make it so both are on banking, it'll switch between the windows. And I don't know if that's a deterrent for some people, but to me, it's really helpful because a lot of times I'll have multiple Chrome windows up and I will go to a tab or I'll create a tab that's already open in the other window, if that makes sense. So like I'll have YouTube open up on two Chrome tabs and I did it because I have way too many open and I just didn't realize it was already there.
Right. Yeah.
And it's really helpful because it's like, hey, you already have this open. Are you sure you want another one? I'm like, oh, you're right. I did have another one. I forgot that was there.
That's cool. I didn't know it did that. So it actually syncs between, even though you have two separate windows.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Really helpful.
That's intuitive.
Because you're trying to switch mentally gears like on what you're working on. And you're like, well, I need YouTube for this, or mainly YouTube is the biggest thing. Cause I don't think I usually have multiple of the same window open for other things, but it's really impressive how well they work. And then like switching between tabs is just, it's so much smoother than Chrome. So
smart.
If your dad asked me, I would just be like, the learning curve, if you're used to Chrome and coming to it, is very little. Like it's super easy. So try it out. And if you don't like it, you can go right back because it doesn't change anything.
It's all synced.
It
don't matter.
But I really think the first 20-30 minutes of using it, if you like Chrome, you will really appreciate it. And I think their biggest hurdle is going to be getting into like businesses and stuff, because that's where I'm going to get used to this, and then I'm going to go to a client that wants me to work on their UI or whatever, or I go home on my gaming station or something like this. So you're going to have a lot of employees that may like it at home, and I've been on you this entire time, and then you'll go to work or go wherever, and it's gonna be a different experience, and you're like, well, maybe I should just go back to Chrome everywhere because that's what I'm used to and that's what I have to use at work.
Ew.
So I feel like a lot of people are going to have that hurdle of
I didn't think about that.
Conforming, because we're in a position where we can just do whatever we want being a business owners, but not everyone gets that luxury. Plus we all use Macs.
Yep. And 90% of the time when you pick up a computer, it's probably running Chrome. And now, a quick break to hear from our sponsors. Coffee House 5. With locations in Franklin and Greenwood and soon a third in Bargersville, Coffee House 5 is Johnson County's premier independent coffee shop to relax, study, or meet friends around great coffee and great food Monday through Saturday. Whether it's a handcrafted espresso or a single origin pour-over, you'll enjoy the freshest, smoothest coffee possible roasted in-house at their Franklin location using a unique airbed roasting process. And don't forget to pair your coffee with a ham and cheddar scone, biscuits and gravy made with their award-winning Parmesan chive biscuit, or any of their other pastries and sandwiches prepared in their Franklin kitchen using family recipes in a style they call Midwest comfort food. As if that's not enough to get your attention, Coffee House 5 is a for-benefit coffee house. All profits are invested in building a stronger community through their support of local mental health services, which you can read more about on their website, coffeehouse5.com. So next time you're in Franklin or Greenwood, and soon Bargersville, stop by Coffee House 5. It's probably running Chrome.
Yeah.
Seems to be. I mean, it's definitely the largest browser Which, I mean, supposedly Safari's got some numbers, but it's also like, it's
by
the
requirement.
default.
Yeah, you have to have it. I tried uninstalling it, and it's a system. What is it called?
Oh yeah, no, you can't get rid of it.
It says required by like the system or something like that.
I did find out. I knew you could set it as the default, but I didn't know that you could really pull as much permission away from it as you could on iOS. And maybe that's a more recent thing, but like recently I was really mad because every link would open up in Safari, even though I use Brave. And I was like, okay, well, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And so then eventually I figured out that you could switch it, and now I don't have to worry about it. But it still has to be installed. You can't get rid of it.
Well, that was, I think, the downside of Brave for me is I switched with you, but I was looking at it from like privacy, like tracking by Google stuff. And
Yes.
then I like Google way too much. It's too useful, and I'm fine with giving them some data.
But that's the draw for Safari, right?
Yeah.
Super private.
Yeah. Well, it's private to everyone that's not Apple.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's what they need. Yeah.
So with Brave, I was like,
they already know everything about us.
I'll give you some data about me if it helps me find the thing I'm looking for faster.
Yeah.
And I really like that. That was the main difference though between Chrome and Brave. The main difference between Arc and Brave and Chrome and all of them combined is just it's a better experience.
Yeah, the UI.
So there was times where I'd get frustrated with Brave where I'd want to switch back to Chrome, and there wasn't really any reason for me to stay other than that's what I switched to already.
And we need to check this, but I found that with Chrome, you can have the casting abilities from Chrome.
Yeah.
And it can also cast your entire screen. But Brave had no casting capabilities.
Oh.
And I don't know, and
Weird.
I haven't seen anything in Arc. I don't think Arc does either.
Is that a feature you use a lot?
No, but it's it used to be one of those things where it's like, it's just nice. Like, so here's
we've
the thing.
had some client situations where we've had to use that on shoots.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So like here at the office now, because of the way that everybody's set up, we can't just like cast something to the TV once we get it mounted. Like we really need to go and buy an Apple TV so that we can AirPlay or AirShare, whatever the hell it is. And we can use that instead.
Oh.
It's like I said, it just doesn't, there's not a lot of, and like, that's the thing too. It's like, if you use the Apple Podcast app, guess what? It doesn't cast. So it's like, I used to cast from my phone to my, my Google Homes so that I could listen to a podcast, or my computer, and I can't now.
Do you pay for Apple Podcasts?
You don't have to pay for it.
Oh.
It's free.
Oh.
It's just their app. You know what I mean? It's the same thing as using Google Podcast or whatever. It's just integrated, which the nice thing is if I come into the office and I'm using Apple Podcast on my phone, I can just click the little icon that pops up on your computer. So like that's what happens. So like if it's an app that's available on your computer, I mean, even if it's Brave, like it worked the same way. So if I walked in and I had Brave up on my phone, it would pop up an extra icon on my dock to the right that showed a little phone in the left-hand corner. And when you click on it, it pulls up exactly what you were doing.
Huh. That sounds complicated.
No, it's super easy.
Oh.
No, it's just like if I want to continue a podcast, instead of having to like go in and pull up the podcast app and like find the episode and listen to it, you just click on the extra little app that pops up on your screen.
Okay.
And then it opens exactly where you were on your phone. The continuity stuff is so nice.
Yeah.
Just move from one device to another. It's like the AirPods. Like as soon as you start using a different device, it just moves that connection over. It's pretty nice.
Can you imagine if Arc made Chromebooks? Get an Arc book?
It'd be pretty baller.
Can you
I'm sure.
get Arc on a Chromebook?
I think it has to be either an Android app or made for that.
Oh.
Because it's not just like a normal, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, right now it's for Mac only, but I'm just like curious if that could be more of a thing. Because if I were a student in school and I was using a Chromebook, I would definitely want Arc on it. Like, I'm just like outside of business use on a Windows computer, because it's like, obviously it's on Mac. Experience on Windows is going to depend a lot on probably your trackpad, I would think. I know you can use a mouse, but I just feel like that's kind of somewhere in the gray zone. But if you're using a Chromebook and you're always on the internet anyways, it's like, and that was free to use, then that's kind of a no-brainer to me.
I agree.
As being like another market for them.
Be smart for them to do that. Although mobile needs to be next. I know they're developing it right now. Like,
I don't mind Chrome on
huge.
mobile. I feel like
it's bad. It's bad.
I would like to see someone improve on it, but I don't
That's what
know.
I'm saying, though.
I don't know if what the method Arc is implemented on. I don't know how they're going to translate it to mobile is all. Because you got to think.
But they're
your
innovators.
phone is the 14 Max, and you've got like double the screen size of a mini, and they have to get it to work with both.
No, I get it. I mean, they're not going to be able to implement the exact same things.
Yeah.
But if they implement, onto whatever the current tab structure is and make a better tab structure, like that's huge.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what it just seems like a very smart group of people.
You don't think
who will
that
put the time.
it was a one-hit wonder kind of thing? You think that they'll come up with more shit?
I don't know. I just, like I said, I think that it's a room full of innovators, and I think that they'll make something really cool. I know one of the big things that they're trying to do is they want everything to sync instantaneously. So not like where you like send a tab to each person. You just, go ahead and as soon as you were to open up your phone, or if you had your phone open next to your computer, it would literally just automatically, you would see the tabs syncing and moving at the same time between the two devices.
Sidecar. Screen extension.
No.
These things already exist. I don't understand.
That's not true. You can't do it with your phone.
Well, yeah.
Can't. And you got to wait for like Chrome and Brave work that way, but you have to wait for that window to like be open long enough for it to be thrown into history so that you can pull it up on your phone.
Does
But you can AirDrop too, but
does the tablet and the phone share the same app store?
Yes and no.
Oh.
Same app store, but iPad gets pushed iPad apps, iPhone apps.
So
they're two different things.
So can you get Arc on your laptop or your tablet now?
No.
So it's completely different from the computer store too.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. There are certain iPad and iPhone apps that you can actually download on your Mac. And that was like part of M1 and everything because it runs ARM, and it's like those apps can run on top of it because it's like the same architecture. But again, like an iPad app that you open on your laptop, it was probably designed for touchscreen. Yeah. So they say the controls are a little wonky. The goal is for them to, of course, eventually be all encompassing, right?
Yeah.
The same experience across all devices.
Yeah, they're the Apple of the internet.
For better, for worse. I think with some apps it makes sense. Like, there was never, like before the most recent update, like there was never a dedicated weather app on macOS. I
didn't know that, but I also don't use the one that's there.
Yeah, which I use that stuff all the time, and it was annoying because you had to download a widget or something so that you could have weather integrated.
That makes sense.
Because I want to see it.
I feel like a lot of people would want to know that.
But it's like it looks exactly like the iPad app now. Like it's all the same, which is nice.
Does your phone tell you the weather, like on the home screen?
Yeah.
Like when you wake up in the morning, does it like pop up first thing?
No, I don't have it set up like that.
I don't know if I didn't set my my phone up to do that, but it says it right now. It's what's next on my date, my time, what's next on my calendar, and it says 35 degrees right now. I didn't set that up. It just
on your home screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, like on my lock screen.
Sorry, lock screen. That's what I meant to say.
So I think I said it wrong too.
I've got widgets on my lock screen, but that was.
Oh, I don't think I can get widgets on my lock screen. Can I? On Android? For real?
Wait, can you?
I don't know.
I think you can customize it. This is new.
Yeah.
Lock screen widgets for iPhone is a new thing, and the implementation is not so great.
Really?
They work, but like getting to it and the way that they implemented it to change your wallpaper now, like, is all included in this whole thing, and you have to go through all these menus to change your wallpaper now. It's not as straightforward because you can have different lock screens. You can have like a slew of different lock screens. You're like, I'm feeling this today, and you just change your lock screen. They're connected to your focus modes too.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I think
focus modes is like
a
long list of do not disturb modes that you can customize.
Yeah.
I have one for night, but the thing that's really cool is so it's set on time. So at my bedtime, it like enables sleep tracking on your watch. It does the whole thing. So it changes my watch face, my backgrounds, my like notifications that are allowed to come through, and make sure that everything's silent. And you can do it in a way that's like you can get nothing from anybody except for your favorites.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But it changes the look of everything as well. And it just automatically turns on at night and goes through. And when it turns off in the morning, it just shows you notifications that you missed at night. Which is normally you because you're up late.
Usually you're up pretty late. Usually it's been like 2 a.m. every night.
Yeah, you'll send me something like, I was never going to see this.
Yeah.
Which that is an odd thing because I'm pretty sure on work nights at 10:30 is when it turns on, and weekends I don't have it on.
I didn't know this.
Yes. So after 10:30 it silences 90% of what comes through, and because you don't have an iPhone, you don't know that. Like if you sent me a text message after 10:30 at night, like it would say that Cole has my notifications silenced.
Oh.
And it shows a little icon. So like, I'm in a different mode. It's kind of cool. But again, it's just like, I don't see a lot of that stuff. So if you send me something after that point, like, and I go to bed, I don't see it till the morning.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it hides your notifications.
Yeah, they have that stuff for Android. I'm just like,
I get it.
Mine's set up so that if it's after a certain time, it's like 9, 10, 11, somewhere around there, and I plug it into a charger, it'll go into do not disturb mode. But as soon as I unplug it after, I think 5 or 6 a.m., it'll stay off for the rest of the day. But it only activates if it's in a certain window and it's plugged in.
Oh.
Which is really helpful for me because if I'm awake, I don't care if I'm getting notifications. Like it's not like there's times where I just stay up past. So I like that. I don't know.
Smart.
I don't know if there's something similar like in your settings that you could do, because
never tried.
I didn't like on Android where it was just every day at the same time, or maybe just weekdays and weekends were different. It was always at a scheduled time, and I'm like, I'm still awake, and my phone would go dim. My phone would like go into do not disturb, and it would dim, and all my notifications would go off. And I was like, I'm still using you, sir. Like you're active. Like I'm literally scrolling through YouTube, and it would just like start shutting everything down. I was like, I don't like this. But
mine's timed as well. Yeah.
People over in Silicon Valley are like, this is going to be used so people know when to go to bed. And I'm like, no, this is used however I want to use it. And I don't want to go to bed. You're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do.
But see, that wouldn't help me at all. I mean, because like, what if you plug your phone into your car? You're still plugging it in.
Yeah. So if you plug it in at night in between those times, it'll start to activate. But you just go up to you just pull down your drop down and hit turn do not disturb off.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah.
You're just like,
yeah,
I'm not ready to go to bed yet.
Yeah.
The funny thing is when my stuff is, usually it's all silenced, but like when my watch is not, it plays a little no, like,
oh yeah.
And it's like a lullaby. Like it's like the, it's kind of funny. My wife laughs at me. She's like, it's your bedtime. Like, leave me alone.
Oh man.
I feel like this has not been our most riveting episode.
No, we need David back.
It's kind of sad. Is there something we can do to spice this thing up before we get off of here?
Argue about something.
What can we argue about?
43 inches is the optimal size for a screen. And anything smaller than that's unusable. You were editing on a 16-inch screen display today, even though you had a 32 in front of you.
There's a reason for that.
There's no reason.
No, I told you.
More space is better.
I told you my reason.
More space is always better.
I mean, it to a certain degree.
Always. If they're both accurate, they're both pretty, and they're both calibrated, then use the bigger one.
But it just depends on what you're doing. Because again, a lot of that stuff can be out of your periph. It's you know what I mean? If I have to like move my head left and right to look at what I need to look at, like there's an optimal size.
No, that's the thing.
And especially because you
want it.
My
want
pixel
it in your
density
peripheral.
is more than yours.
You want it just outside the peripheral, so you're focused.
Nah.
And then you're like, I need that thing. Where is it? And then you just like look over like an inch, and it's like, oh, that's exactly what I needed.
No, that's why I only use one app at a time.
Yeah, I
only need one thing. I can't yet. You can't use two things at once.
Yeah, see, this is I just don't understand why you'd buy the display if you're not going to use it.
I use it. Here's the issue. I have a keyboard problem right now.
Oh.
I told you about this.
Well, yeah.
I have a keyboard issue.
It don't work.
So I have a
computer.
I have a Logitech MX keys for Mac, which means, because I don't know if you people know this or not, but the Mac keyboard layout is different than a Windows keyboard. Fundamentally, it's the same, but like they're called different names for different keys. Like backspace is delete on a Mac.
Yeah, and return is enter, and then command is not Windows key.
I don't know.
It's like slightly different.
It's something different.
There's a bunch of weird things.
Essentially, like I'm missing a key now.
Yeah.
Because there's, control and function and command, like all those things are normally there. It's not on this. So I had to do some rekeying because now I'm using a Windows keyboard, like an actual Microsoft Surface keyboard. Mm-hmm. I love this keyboard, and I always have. But it's like my MX keys just won't stay connected. It's like when the battery starts to get low, it just gets real funky. And when I'm trying to get work done, it sucks because it just really puts a damper on my day. So I switched, and this has worked nonstop, fine, good to go. But I have to use a very certain set of key commands to start my HDRs because it's the fastest way to do it. Mm-hmm. And I can't do it on that keyboard. So I open up my laptop and do it there. But it's also faster.
But then you stay in it. Then you stay in that.
No, I switch back. Mm-hmm. As soon as I'm done, I switch back.
You switch back to the big screen?
Yeah.
So I love HDRing the whole time in here today?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know it was that time consuming.
I shot 5 houses today.
Oh, that makes sense.
I had 239 HDRs to do.
That's a lot.
It's probably still out there doing it.
Probably. And that's why my computer's switching all the screens today.
Yeah. Well, also I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want the pressure.
Dude, that's why this conversation's 80% good.
That's why, because you can't focus.
20% of it's going to remembering when I'm switching the camera angle.
I can't wait to see how well you did.
Oh, there's like a good 30-minute section in the middle of this where I just didn't switch. I was just like, oh yeah, I was supposed to be doing this thing.
Whoops.
Yeah, this is why I need that big screen. Just a little off to the side. I'm like, oh yeah, that's that focus.
Well, that is funny. We could have done it because you can't see over here. So we could have just set up the big screen for you, and you would have been fine. We could have put the TV.
It would have been really helpful, actually.
Yeah, just giant TV next to me.
For the future, I see why Jamie's always got that pulled up on Joe Rogan's off on the side. It's like the things you can't forget who's on camera.
Right. Yeah. It is smart. We need to do more stuff like that.
I'll have like a burst where I'm like going back and forth, like right now, where I'm like really. Like I'm really focusing in. I could see it out of the corner of my eye a little bit there.
Since David's not here, we should just talk about him, how much we don't like him.
Oh, yeah. He said I can't see very good.
You can't, or you could not.
-4 is a perfectly acceptable eyesight. My wife told me a lot of people are in that range. It's considered adequate, and you're still able to drive.
Yeah, but the problem is like you needed to go to the eye doctor like months ago.
Insurance.
Now, I understand.
Up to a point, and then the insurance I wanted to go to.
But then you forgot, I thought. I thought you missed an appointment.
I never had it on my calendar, but I didn't miss the appointment. I made the appointment. It just wasn't on my calendar.
Okay.
I made it. I asked my wife, I said, hey, when's my thing? And she's like, oh, it's on your calendar. I was like, no, it's not.
No.
But it was, I made it. It was today. They were just like 3 months out. I found out that they close at noon every day.
Oh.
Yeah, so they like open at somewhere between like 7 and 8, and then they close at noon for lunch or something.
Can only be creepy till noon.
And then they leave. I think they come back after noon, but like they're like everyone in the office takes like a 1 hour lunch. So like every day, I feel like they're only working like a 7-hour day. And when you're like you're supposed to be taking like maybe 2 patients every half hour. It's like you're getting rid of like, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 10 patients a week that you could have taken in otherwise. I feel like that's got to play a part into it. Maybe I'm wrong on all their hours, but I remember when I was in, they were specifically talking about how, we leave at noon every day. Everybody leaves the office for lunch.
It's fantastic.
I was like, dang,
Same here, dude.
Yeah, we leave the office, but we don't, it's not for lunch. It's for more shoots. We just gone.
We're just out.
Yeah.
It depends on the day.
But now I can actually see the screen from this far away. I could see it. I wouldn't be able to see it from this far away before.
I'm so proud of you, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
I have trial contacts the last 30 days.
You got any funny dad stories? Anything? What's one thing that like you have learned recently that you didn't expect to?
He like goes a really long time without pooping.
Oh,
Like a long time.
Like is that
a
a
day.
new thing?
No, I poop every day, like usually.
I understand.
Yeah, but he's a baby, and I
Yeah.
would expect him to poop more than once a day.
Oh,
But he like has like these little marker stains. You know what I'm saying? And then like he'll have like one blowout.
yeah. Hold on. What is it? It was called the.
Skid mark?
There you go.
Yeah. He gets like one little marker
One little
stain in there. One little skid.
Just a little shark.
A little pug sliding across the carpet. And but yeah, I thought
Hershey's
babies pooped way more because they always talk about how many diapers you go through, and I'm like, I assumed that was more of the process, but really he just pees a lot.
Interesting. I think there's something wrong with your child.
No, I remember it's kind of normal. It depends on your kid.
I remember that Luna, for like a period of time, there were some periods like that where you were like, are you okay, sweetheart?
Yeah.
Like, are you ever going to poop? And then there was just like, after 6 months, somewhere in like the 6 months to a year period, she was just pooping like 5 times a day.
Yeah, that's what I was anticipating. Like he did that earlier on when he was an infant.
Yeah. So they got to get all that other stuff out.
3 months old. I think he just turned 2 months old, and now it's been different. And then the other thing is he started laughing. He like has like moments where he laughs, and I can't figure out what he's laughing at. Like I don't know.
Your
like
face.
Yeah.
He's like, that guy's funky looking.
Yeah, like something about me is doing it, because I come home and he does not laugh for my wife very much ever at all. And I come home, and then when he sees me, he just starts like laughing and smiling, and it's
like, look at this guy.
Yeah, and she gets kind of I don't think she minds because it's so cute that she doesn't care. But I feel like she's kind of annoyed by the fact that I see all that, and she's like home all day with him, and she's like, he did that like twice all day, and then every time you come home he does it immediately. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what's I know they're probably not laughing because something's actually funny, but I'm curious of what it is that's triggering him to do that.
Yeah, maybe it's nothing, you know. Maybe you stink. He's like,
yeah.
Who knows?
I always assume it's because he farts and poops and he's like laughing. Yeah, he knows it's coming.
He's already a dude.
Yeah,
just a bro through and through. Farts funny. He knows. Dude, I came home last night and Audrey's like, I taught her a new trick, and I was like, she's not a dog. But she's like, no. She's like, she came up to me and whispered in my ear, and she's like, ask her where her belly is. And I was like, Luna, where's your belly? And she like looked at me, and I was like, where's your belly? And she took her hands and rubbed her belly, and I was like, look at you.
Yeah, no, he don't do any cool tricks yet.
Not yet.
No,
I get it. I've got a little time on you.
He's kind of a year behind.
Yeah. Yeah. It was about a year, right?
Yeah.
Because he was, January
11th or something. I don't know.
11th or 12th. That's what I thought.
Somewhere in there. I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And obviously she turned 1 in January, so it's okay, man. You'll catch up.
Yeah.
Then I got one that turns 10 next year.
Was there...
Where has the time gone? This is boring. What else you got?
I got this.
What's funny?
I got this.
No one cares about your computer.
I got it. That's cool.
No one cares about your M2 Max bull crap. I computer.
I'll tell you what. I think what's cool is the fact that I thought laptops were dumb, and then this one's actually probably a lot more powerful than the one that I was using.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is like no one listens to me.
Yeah.
Nobody listens to me.
Yeah.
I have been rocking it since what would that have been? 21?
Yeah.
End of 21?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, man, the screen too small. It's not fast enough. And I was like,
13-inch was way too small. 16-inch is perfect. It's amazing.
Yes.
But I underestimated it. I thought having a bigger screen would be better, and this is really nice. It's so lightweight compared to what everyone said it would be, and it's just nice. I was wrong.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we're all advocates. Like, if you do any sort of creative work and you need power, it's like, just get the laptop. You can dock it at home and use your peripherals and your monitors or whatever. That's what I do when I come in. We've talked about this. Like, it just works, and it's crazy to think that when I'm in the car And if I want to pull it out and do some editing, heavy editing, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they get warm and all that jazz, but it's like, it does all the things. I just don't think there's more bang for your buck in a computer than the current MacBook Pro.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, for the most part. I know they just put the new Razer against it, but I still just don't think that,
well,
like...
I wouldn't even consider Windows. That's not even a fair comparison.
Because it's just like... I guess I should say horsepower for your dollar. Like, I don't think there's more than the current MacBook Pro, but I think that, like, best bang for your buck is probably the Air.
Yeah,
the
and
M2
then I
Air.
guess I've come from the perspective of the software we use is all final or all Mac exclusive, but I guess if you edited in Premiere or DaVinci Resolve for video or photography was just Lightroom, I still think it would be really hard to compare any other laptop against the Mac for the value, for
It's
the
so
price,
fast.
even though they're more expensive.
And Adobe,
the performance is equal with it.
Adobe runs like crap. I don't care what you say. And I think I've touched Windows 11 once, but still, it's like Adobe just doesn't run good on Windows. It just doesn't. That's why I switched. I would have stayed, but it was just like, I knew that it was going to up my workflow with Adobe. And it was rough in the early days. I'm not going to lie. Because when I got the initial M1 MacBook Pro, the 13-inch, where they just retrofitted it, and it was rough. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it did better than any of my Windows PCs ever did, and it was half the size, but it was rough. And as soon as I switched to the Macs, like, I was like, this is home.
Yeah. Did you...
I'll never leave.
Oh. I kind of forgot that you had a smaller one for a while.
I didn't have it for very long.
Yeah, that was short-lived.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what was the other thing.
I sold it.
We weren't
Peace out. And I had some good Windows laptops. Silly. I spent some money on those things.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was like the biggest opposition was just the price of it. Because you can actually, I would recommend it. If you aren't like doing heavy lifting, go buy it and you want a good computer that'll last like 4 or 5 years, buy the M1 Max or the M1 Pro series because they're like almost $1,000 cheaper than the M2s right now. Like you $700 to $1,000 cheaper. Like your model right now, I saw on sale for like $2,500.
Dang.
And you paid like $34-$35 for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe the lowest one was up somewhere between $24 and $2,700. But
and there's not enough difference.
No.
There's just not enough difference to
20% performance improvement. But it's like, unless you're doing something crazy, most people won't need that. And that's where I go back to Arc with like a Chromebook or whatever. It's like, honestly, if somebody just made the internet browser experience, that's going to be best for like 80% of users.
Well, that's kind of the plan for the future. Like, I mean, that's like to have less computing power in your hands and it would just be like used through the internet.
Yeah.
And so like Adobe is moving a lot. They're trying to move a lot of their products to the web.
That'll go well.
Yeah. I mean, it's yet to be seen. I think they've done some of it, but like if they were able to do it, that'd be pretty cool. Where it's just like, it doesn't matter what machine you have, you just pull up Photoshop in your browser and here you are.
Yeah. No,
it's a cool concept.
I like the concept, but the problem is bad software is going to run bad no matter how good the hardware is. And yes. I think Adobe's so poorly optimized, it ain't going to get there. Even on, we got server grade Quadros and 4090s and, just stupid high computer specs. And it's like, yeah, but your program still is trash.
Well, that's the problem. They kind of need to restart.
Yeah.
Because we've all talked about it. They just keep piling things onto an old piece of software and they're like, it looks new and it's new, but it's like they just keep tacking things onto it and it just keeps getting heavier. And it's not great. So, but they work 1,000 times better on the Mac. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. I
use them day in and day out. Photoshop, Illustrator, XD, Lightroom Classic. These are all things that I frequent.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't touch anymore is Premiere.
I remember trying to build a Hackintosh back in like 2017 because I didn't understand why somebody would spend twice the money.
Yeah.
$3,400 versus $1,700 when you could just build it yourself. But after using Macs for so long, about 7 years now, because I got my Mac shortly after I built my PC, the stability of running a business and knowing that things work and aren't changing to the point where they break. I've had you jumped on Ventura too early. That don't blink your eyes at me. You switched OSs way too soon on that one. But
well, that and I jumped on the M1 train really early.
That too.
I saw a lot of issues during that period of time. Nothing too hateful. You know, it never broke my process, but there was definitely times where it was like, this is not good.
Just the early adopter tax. But like if you buy something that it was designed so we have had zero actual issues from the Mac side. We've had issues with our computers, but that's usually our server internal issues. So
darn you, Linux.
I honestly can't think of any time where I've lost money on a shoot because of the Mac itself, but I can give you many instances where I used to edit on PC where I lost both money or jobs or clients time, most importantly time, where the computer just bunked up and ruined everything. So I don't love Apple, but I like things that are stable, and this is one of them. currently one of them.
Okay. We did screen cleaning on Tuesday tip this week.
Yes, you cleaned the screen.
So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Go watch it.
It's very creative. Someone said so.
Someone did say so. We don't know if this is an authority figure or not, but they said it. Someone that doesn't know us thought that we were creative.
It's probably Josh.
Josh who?
Josh from YouTube.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, he's pretty creative.
I know. I don't know what his last name is. That's funny.
I don't know.
He's just Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in Ohio now. We talked about that. We need to go see him.
I want to go meet Josh.
I want to meet Josh. He's got lots of cool stuff.
Josh, what's your last name, Josh? And can we meet you?
Make art now.
Make art now.
Come on, man.
I want to make a video now.
I want to make a video with you, bro. We can have 2 Ronin 4Ds.
Oh yeah, we have Ronin 4D. Do you want to be friends?
Yeah.
It's like the tech equivalent of like hitting on a girl, and you're like, I have Lamborghini and money.
Yeah,
and it's like that's gonna work. So it's like I have Ronin 4D. Will you be my friend?
Hey man, it works 100% of the time, 60% of the time.
Is that I know that's Anchorman.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's.
I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah.
It smells like gasoline. Okay. Nothing money related. If you could change one thing about the company right now,
not money related,
by moving a magic wand. And I just mean like not more money. That can't be your thing, because I understand that.
No.
Something interesting, not boring.
I want a magic wand studio on the first floor with a garage door.
Nice.
That's what I want.
Nice.
Right now. Yeah.
I like that. That's a good one. To be really tight.
Yeah.
But who would get to pull in?
Well, it's not like, it'd be like a warehouse type. Yeah, like I
want to park in it.
No, don't park in there.
I want to park in it.
No, that's for pulling in the work vehicle.
I want to park. Mine's a work vehicle.
No, it's not.
I drive more than anybody for work.
It's true. But you're getting your discount on your mileage. Don't worry about it.
I'm telling you, one day I will drive the old TRIFLIX mobile around. Put some graphics on there, as long as it can be the company vehicle and I can just go out. That's fine.
You don't drive safe enough.
I do not.
That would not.
I do not
be a good brand look.
But what we could do is like the old Ken Block thing, where it's like the matte black with the gloss black. So like if you have to see it in the right light.
No, what you need to have on the side is like fast driving, but faster turnarounds. And then faster driving equals faster turnarounds, and then like have like video cameras and stuff all over the side of it. So then
we return your media as fast as I drive.
Yeah. The speed is directly related. I feel like if we just leaned into it, like you'd be okay.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm not that bad. I'm better than you are. Well,
I feel like we're pretty progressively. I feel like we're tied, but like they're in different ways. Like we're equally bad,
I'm also kind of like, it's kind of one of those things where like my friends do it and I'd be like, my friends do it and get away with it. So I've kind of pushed the limits a little bit more because I'm like, well, they do it.
Yeah, because you know how I drive in town.
Yes.
Never had a problem in town.
But see, it's also like I give in too easily to a challenge.
Yeah.
There was this guy in a Mazda behind me today on 46.
What model?
It's like a SUV, like a crossover.
Oh.
Newer for sure. But he was following me from, 65, 46 into town, right? So I'm getting ready to go up the curvy whoop-de-loop thing to come into town. And he was like on me. So I was like, let's just see how much it takes to get rid of you. And so I was like, kept creeping up speed. And he was just sticking right with me. And I was like, I know where I'm going to lose him. And it's the turns. Because I can do that whole loop going like 70.
Yeah.
And
you got the
never touch the brake.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then there was this guy, this Avenger Dodge car. I think it's called an Avenger. I don't know. And he was trying real hard, and he eventually gave up. Like, no, I can't. You
gotta know your limits.
Yeah. I was like, nah, dude, it's all good. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. Two, I'm getting to the point now. I'm so tired of driving. I'm so tired of it. I'm just sick of it.
Yeah. So if you drove stupid and you got arrested, you won't have to drive anymore.
Well, no, I just want to get from point A to point B as fast as I can so I can be done.
Yeah.
It's the sooner I can get out of the car. It's just like I got a 30-minute drive home tonight. And so you're like, if I drive faster, I'll be home 5 minutes earlier, and it's 5 minutes I don't have to be in the car.
Yeah, no.
And it's more fun.
That makes sense.
I don't know, man.
When the weather's nice, I don't mind it. But right now, we've had crap weather for
so
like
cold.
7 months now in a row. And like we get one nice day and I'm like, oh, I look forward to this. And then I check the calendar or the weather, whatever.
The calendar, man. It tells me the weather.
Well, I check the calendar and see if I have to leave my house first. And then I check the weather.
I don't know, man. It's a racket.
Big weather.
Big weather. You got to watch out for big weather. It's Apple
They got a monopoly.
They got a monopoly on the sky.
Mm-hmm. What now?
I don't know. I think we should probably call it.
Yeah.
I think we've crashed and burned.
I'm so tired.
We just...
Are you tired?
I am tired. I actually am tired. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
You know what? If you made it through this whole episode, and don't be a turd, don't skip to the end, okay? But if you actually listen to the whole episode, shoot us a comment or a DM.
We'll send you a $5 gift card to Waffle House.
No, to Waffle House. That's funny. I don't know. I was gonna say I'll throw you an ARC invite.
Oh yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, you want to be ARC man?
Yeah, you want to join in with us on ARC?
Have to have Apple phone, computer.
Just computer.
You
gotta be running Mac OS. Okay. Doesn't work on the phone yet.
Yeah, I should have leaned into this like intentionally wrong character this whole time. You're just obviously wrong.
It's the Apple Watch browser.
Yeah, that dude. ARC on Apple Watch.
Oh my gosh, it sounds hateful. The watch just needs to work. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you guys made it through this miraculously, to throw us the thing. We technically have 10 invites between the two of us. So if you want an invite, hit us up.
Yeah.
We'll shoot you a DM with an invite link. Swear we'll do it.
And
don't test me.
Probably no gift card to Waffle House.
No gift card to Waffle House.
But
we're not big enough. One day we'll do that stuff. That'd be fun.
We'll meet them at Waffle House and we'll eat with them.
There you go.
We'll go Dutch. Everyone pays for their own food.
If you're the 28th person to comment, then we'll take you to Waffle House.
Yeah. Come to
you
Waffle
and
House.
your grandma.
Yeah. But only after 2 a.m. because I want my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, and you got to be lit too. It's the only way you can go to Waffle House at 2 a.m., buddy. Otherwise, you walk in and you walk right back out.
Dude, I'd walk in and they'd think I was like, off a rough night or whatever. And it's just like, no, I've just been watching the baby.
That could be a rough night. That happens.
Could be.
Just come in smelling like crap.
Mine?
The baby pooped all over me.
Oh, the baby's.
Not yours.
Yeah, I don't know. It
could be yours. It's happened a couple times lately.
I've been to Waffle House.
Well, you didn't poo your pants, but you smelled like you did.
Yeah, it was
showers are important.
I showered today. I got new eyeballs. My desk is clean.
Your body is clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life's good.
I'm proud of you.
The things I'll do to avoid work.
I'm so so proud of you.
It's what I can do, man.
Okay, we're wrapping this thing up. Hey guys, you know what? This is a podcast. If you you know, we just sit here and we talk and we joke around, and honestly, we don't even know what a podcast is anymore. But if you it sounded weird. If you want to come on the podcast, hit us up. If you got something interesting, you got a story to tell, maybe you survived some crazy accident and you want to tell us about it. I've been watching those lately. I've been watching those lately on TikTok, and this one dude literally got his arms ripped off.
How can you tell?
No, they sewed him back on. He's good to go.
For real?
They literally sewed them back on.
Did he have stitches? I don't know if I trust this source.
Well, he can't move all of his fingers, but he can lift his arms up. His hands are kind of contorted, but they literally put him back on. I was like, dude, it was a crazy story. Crazy story. But anyways, you got a story about having your arms ripped off? Come on, TRIFLIX Cast. We'd love to help you promote your arm losing story. Or just in general. If you're just an interesting person, want to talk about, you know, you want to come on here, even if you're not interesting, and you just want to talk to us. I want the least
interesting person, because I think that would be interesting to interview.
That'd be fantastic.
Like, give me nothing. Like, I like, you know, you talk to somebody, you're like, come on, give me something. Like a conversation. It's like, no, give me nothing. I want a stonewall. I want to ask questions, and they're just shut it down. One word answers every time.
Yeah, we're downtown Columbus. It's easy, guys. We have a studio. Hey, you know what you could also do? If you want to rent our podcast studio, you can. Comes with a person that runs the thing.
He's underneath the couch right now.
Yeah. He's pushing the buttons from underneath.
It's like,
what else? Follow us on social media. TRIFLIX LLC on Instagram. We got TRIFLIX Films team and podcast. Or TRIFLIX Cast, sorry, on YouTube. You can check all that out. There's also a TRIFLIX Cast Instagram. Go follow that, because it's how you see this stuff. We have clips. We got stuff that you don't get to see otherwise. Like, you don't hear it in the episode. There's stuff that you got to check out. So, and if you just want to talk to us, we want someone to talk to. Just talk to us. Otherwise, I'm sorry. Anyways, just follow us.
Was that in your peripheral?
Yeah. We appreciate you. I'm proud of you if you made it through this thing. I'm proud of us.
I'm running it next time. It's a new thing.
No.
Oh, did you ever hear the story about like how those suckers at the dentist work? I just went to the dentist, and you know, like when you like they put it in your mouth and it, like sucks all the spit out.
Yeah.
It's a dude underneath
on the other side. He's like, turn on.
Yeah. Have a good week.
Stay classy, San Diego.
I forgot to cut to you.
Stay classy, San Diego. Hey, do you know what San Diego means?
The whales. I don't think
we should bleep that.
The which part? Oh yeah. Definitely just bleep it.
Don't.
That would have been a way more fun podcast. Oh, there's my wife.